What's up, everybody? It's your boy DrewEvo, and just want to let you guys know that you guys can follow me on here at Philly Eyes DrewEvo. You can subscribe, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button on this channel. Really helps me out. And I'm just going to introduce myself real quick. If those of you who do not know who I am, my name is DrewEvo, and this is my YouTube channel, Philly Irish DrewEvo. Now, if you watched my last video, I talked about the Philadelphia Eagles, and you may see me on the Shoe Shine podcast with Dave from the 408. We talk about boxing from the mouths of boxing fans. So you also can see me on twitch.tv/DrewEvo85. So guys, we're going to talk about, this is a boxing talk. I want to talk about boxing. So this is what we're talking about tonight. Is we're talking about the upcoming fight this Saturday night, which is on DAZN. Canelo Alvarez is defending the WBC belt against his mandatory Yorman. I forget how to pronounce his name, so don't hold it against me. But I have a little bit of a beef when it comes to the WBC. And the beef that I have is of the mandatory that they got to face Canelo, and how I don't understand how this guy is the mandatory challenger for Canelo Alvarez when this guy is coming off a knockout loss. And what I don't understand is that he's coming off a knockout loss. How is he the mandatory challenger? I get the guy that he got knocked out by was Anthony Durrell. And I don't understand how, and Anthony Durrell beat him already. I don't understand how Anthony Durrell is not the mandatory. Wouldn't that make Anthony Durrell the mandatory challenger? Because I thought for you to be the number one fighter or the mandatory, you have to win a fight to be called the mandatory challenger. And clearly this guy was knocked out by Durrell, Chris Eubanks Jr. I wish I could be able to pull up the rankings and everything on here. But last time I saw the rankings, Anthony Durrell was ranked number 4 underneath him. I don't get this. I don't really get this one bit. That how you can actually have a mandatory that's coming off a KO loss and everything. I don't really understand it at all. I just want to ask people I want to ask the WBC how, tell me how can you have how can you have a guy like, a guy that, really is coming off a loss, a knockout loss. To Anthony Durrell and everything. I don't really understand it, that how people can really see how bad people can see how these rankings are. It's a travesty. It's really that bad. And I really want to know how bad these rankings are. And I just really want to let people know that if you're looking at, let's look at it like this. Canelo Alvarez. Let's say, matter of fact, let's rewind a little bit. The last holder of that title was David Benavidez. And Canelo didn't want to fight David Benavidez when he had the belt. When David Benavidez had the WBC super middleweight title, Canelo wanted no part of David Benavidez. But as soon as David Benavidez lost the title on the scale, Canelo asked to fight for the belt. Canelo wanted to fight for the WBC belt. Right after David Benavidez lost it on the scale, and it was vacated when he won the fight. His fight that was scheduled. And then Canelo was actually fighting for that belt against Callum Smith. So it was somewhat, whoever won that fight was going to get 2 belts because Callum Smith, I think, was the WBA super middleweight champion. So Canelo has 2 belts now, and then now he's fighting this nobody. That's the WBC proclaim as the mandatory challenger to Canelo. A guy that's coming off of a knockout loss. And the guy that beat him is ranked, 2 guys that beat him are ranked beneath him. That's a travesty. I want to know I would ask the WBC, how the hell is your rank system this broken? How the hell do you figure out your rank system? Because the super middleweight, WBC super middleweight rankings are a joke. And I know, hey, everybody's got to fight an easy mandatory once in a blue moon. But this is a joke. How is your ranking so broken? Like, let's look at it like this. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. You got 2 guys that are ranked below him, and both of them beat him. This dude's coming off a knockout loss, and how the hell is he a mandatory challenger to Canelo? And the thing about it is, he was Canelo's sparring partner. Seriously, I really think these rankings are a joke. And the WBC needs to answer some questions about the ranking system. How the hell is this due to mandatory? Hold on a second. Hello? So now we see that this rank system, matter of fact, I want to get something for you guys. I want to get something for you guys. I gotta read this to you. Hold on a second. I could not find what I was looking for you guys. Sorry about that. So now, what the hell was I? So I went out of nowhere and I explained to people. I was trying to talk to people about this, a couple of my friends about this. Say, how the hell is Canelo fighting how the hell does Canelo? He didn't want to fight Benavidez then when he had the belt. But now, when he lost the belt on the scale and won his fight and the belt was vacated, Canelo called the WBC and asked them, can he fight for the belt? Like, seriously. I thought the one that should have got an opportunity to get his belt back was Benavidez. I thought David Benavidez should at least get his chance to get his belt back. But I really think the WBC president needs to, say something, explain the rank system, how the fighters are ranked. Seriously, this system is broken. It's a joke. Like, it's a disgrace to boxing that you have a guy that's the mandatory that's coming off a KO loss. And the guys that beat him are ranked below him. And it's a shame, too, how bad boxing has become more of a joke nowadays. Like, when you have a guy like the WBC, they make all these belts for sanctioning fees. Like the franchise belt. These belts don't mean shit. But you pay a sanctioning fee for these belts. That's why these belts are made. So the WBC can make more money. But like anything, like the WBC has done nothing but become a joke to boxing. They're a complete joke, the WBC. I don't really get how you can really have rankings like this. But then, like, when it came to the heavyweights with Dillian Wright, you didn't want him to fight Deontay Wilder. You didn't name him the mandatory for Wilder. And everything. So there's a lot of like conspiracy bullshit going on with the WBC. And like you could say, oh, they're catering to Canelo and everything. They probably are. Like they gave him they literally gave him the fucking belt. Like they allowed him right away to fight for this belt, a vacated belt. Where if you wanted to be honest, if the belt was vacated, then the next two to go for it was actually the rank 1 and the rank 2 fighter in the WBC should have fought for it. How is Canelo Alvarez able to fight for that belt if, one, he wasn't in the rankings at that time, or if he wasn't the mandatory or the number 2 fighter? So how was he able to fight for that vacated WBC belt and not your mandatory and your second ranked fighter? Instead of it becoming an eliminator, it should have became fighting for the WBC title itself. I don't get this. Oh, we have more Canelo fighting. We're gonna make more money off Canelo. So we decided we're gonna have we want Canelo to fight for the belt, and we know he's gonna beat Caleb Smith, and he's gonna be the WBC champion. And fucking DAZN, like, sir, no, I'm gonna say something about fucking DAZN. You guys should be fucking ashamed of yourself with the fucking making people pay money, pay a monthly fee or $100 a year for the bullshit fights that you put out. Like, seriously. You had Triple G fight a nobody. Then you're going to have Canelo fight a nobody. Like, and then the whole time, let me just say something right now. When Canelo had that contract under DAZN, Canelo didn't fight. Canelo fought Danny Jacobs. And did all right, the numbers. Fought Sergey Kovalev, which I'm going to be honest, that fight failed to do 200,000 views. That fight failed to do 200,000 views. That's how bad it was. So Canelo moved up the light heavyweight to fight a washed up Kovalev. Yes, Sergey Kovalev's washed up. He's not the crusher anymore. He wasn't then. He's not now. Sergey Kovalev was stupid enough to take that fight on a month's notice. After fighting Anthony Yarden, which he was almost stopped. And he stopped Yard. I don't get it. And then DAZN finally had enough of Canelo telling him, "Hey, you gotta fight an elite fighter." It was they claim it was in the contract that that he has to fight at least a couple of elite fighters. He has to fight a big name fighter. So I want to know when they put their foot down finally, when they realized they were losing money on Canelo because he was booking easy fights. Golden Boy was booking easy fights. Canelo got told he wasn't getting the full salary for fighting some. I forget who he was going to. They didn't view Billy Joe Sanders or Caleb Smith as premier opponents at that time. And they didn't want to give Canelo that money. They didn't want to give Canelo that full. They only want to give him like $18 million for each fight. He didn't like that. He sued DAZN. He sued Golden Boy too for breach of contract. But it's technically that's what led to the split to Golden Boy and Canelo. DAZN was almost bankrupt over this. But DAZN got out of it because, Canelo should be suing his promoter. I'm glad I have exposed. I'm glad you do, man. I'm really glad you do. And I'll be honest with you, man. I hope you feel a lot better. I really do. But do me a favor real quick, my man. Have a nice night. I did not want to hear about diarrhea. I did not want to hear about diarrhea on that one, my man. You got that right, fucking trolls. You got that fucking right, fucking trolls. I said fuck them at the end of the day. It's not my fucking problem. But let me just say, I am going to say something. But when it comes to this lawsuit that they have, it led to the split of Canelo and Golden Boy. So now they have, they negotiated, Canelo became a free agent. And Canelo is currently dealing with Eddie Hearn now. For the time being, he has a fight scheduled with Billy Joe Sanders on Cinco de Mayo, which I'm personally going to place a $50 bet on Billy Joe Sanders to beat Canelo Alvarez, because I'm going to tell you what I did this past weekend. A week before Oscar Valdez won his fight against Butchell, I predicted Oscar Valdez was going to win by 10th round KO. Because I don't make predictions, I make spoilers. I predicted the Alexander 5th round KO Povetkin 5th round KO of Dillian White. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's coming more, boxing has become more of a joke lately. Really, it really has become more of a joke. In my opinion, it has. I know. People told me I should have bet it for Vada. I should have made a bet and everything. I should have placed a bet. But you know what, man? People can make bets, can ask me now, and if they hit, they can give me some money towards it. Hey, you get a bet? Hey, you can hit my Cash App up. I'm actually have a PC gold to get myself a streaming and gaming PC so I can stream on my Twitch channel better and make better videos on YouTube. I'm still trying to make a freaking intro. But let's get back to it. Let's get back to that shit, by the way. So, now, this fight this weekend with Canelo and this nobody, we all know people are not gonna bet on who's gonna win, because we all know Canelo Alvarez is gonna win. They're gonna bet on what round he's gonna knock this dude out in. And I said it on the Shoe Shine podcast, which if you go to Shoe Shine Boxing on YouTube, you'll be able to see the podcast with me and Dave from the 408. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button on this. And you will see I'm giving the dude 5 rounds, and I'm being nice. I'm being generous. I don't think the guy's going to go past 5 rounds. So, at the end of the day, he's not going past 5 rounds, in my opinion. And if he does, Canelo's just trying to drag him along. But I see this, seeing this kind of way he fights and everything, man. Damn, man. How the hell is this dude even ranked as the mandatory? So, Eraser of Shumoff, where the fuck your name is, WBC president, you should really explain to the people, to the fans of boxing, your broke ass rank system. Seriously. It's really pathetic as fans, and they should be fucking ashamed of themselves because we're getting another 20, we're paying another $20 a month for Canelo to fight a nobody. Probably the Joseph Parker fight's gonna be better than that. So I don't really get this shit because like you would think DAZN will have learned from their mistakes on how to to make sure they can make better fights. Because DAZN, I'm surprised DAZN isn't bankrupt yet from this shit. Like, I'm being honest, DAZN should be bankrupt, should have been bankrupt already from the crap boxing they brought out. Like, you have Devin Haney versus Gamboa. That was a freaking boring fight. Triple G fighting a nobody. We all know who the hell was going to win that fight. Like, I don't get this shit. Like, it didn't look like. Is Dave? Let's put your comment up here. I'm gonna put your comment up here anyway. I don't read it like that. Fuck it. David Benavidez for Yorman is fighting Canelo because David came in to the fight overweight, but the WBC is corrupt as fuck, bro. You damn right it is. But here's my take on it. If you want me to be honest, here's my take on it. The guy came in over the weight limit. He lost the belt on the scale. Technically, if the belt is vacated, if he beats the guy he's supposed to fight, the belt's vacated. That means the next eliminator is actually not supposed to be eliminator. It's supposed to be the two top contenders should be fighting for that belt. Instead of an eliminator, they're fighting for a vacated belt. But instead of that, they allowed Canelo to fight for the vacated belt with Callum Smith. So whoever won that fight was going to be a unified champion. But here's the thing. Canelo didn't want to fight David Benavidez when he was champion. But as soon as he lost it, he jumped in and wanted to take the belt. So we know Canelo don't want to fight David Benavidez. We know that. Canelo the thing with Canelo, he's avoided Charlo, he's avoided Demetrius Andre, he's avoided David Benavidez. The two guys he's planning on giving fights to are I don't know why he will think he has an easy time. I think Billy Joe Sanders and Caleb Plant can beat Canelo Alvarez. I think Billy Joe Sanders will beat Canelo. I even think Caleb Plant has all the tools to beat Canelo Alvarez. So, like, seriously, you're picking fighters that have styles like that you're not gonna be good at. These are slick boxers you're gonna face next. Billy Joe's a slick boxer. Remember the last time he fought a slick boxer? In Stanley Lara? He lost to him. They gave him a gift decision, but Lara beat him. Lara got robbed in that fight. I already had Canelo winning 3 rounds in that fight. That wasn't a close fight. Lara outboxed him all night. But they gave him the gifted decision. Hey, don't get me wrong. Canelo's really improved as a boxer all around, but he still ain't gonna fuck with a pure boxer. The last time we're not counting Amir Khan. Amir Khan has no defense. So let me tell you something about Amir Khan when he fought Amir Khan. Amir Khan has a weakness that he sticks his chin out and keeps it out. So he got knocked out. Amir Khan was never a defensive fighter. He was trained by Freddie Roach at the beginning of his career. Freddie Roach is an offensive coach. He didn't really. He placed Amir Khan. Let your hands go. Let your hands go. He never helped improve his defense with put his chin out. But then when he switched to Virgil Hunter is more of a defensive-minded coach, and we were all hoping that he would make Amir Khan into a better defensive fighter and stop him from putting his chin out. But that didn't happen. He did it in that Canelo fight. He got knocked out because of it. I had him winning every round before he got knocked out because he was easily outboxing Canelo in hand speed. But you want to know what beats hand speed? What's the main thing that beats hand speed? Timing. Let's read that comment. I love Billy, but I wish he was fighting Canelo at middleweight where he was faster, but Billy has the skills to beat him. Me and you are the only few people to think he can. That's the thing. Billy Joe Sanders has the skills to beat Canelo Alvarez. So does Caleb Plant. Like, seriously. People don't, get it. A lot of people are going to, they don't see it. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody on that shit when it comes to that. But if you look at it like this, Canelo has problems with southpaws. Point facts. But at the end of the day, I was talking to a couple. I really, at the time of the knockout of when Amir Khan got knocked out by Canelo, I had Amir Khan up every round. But at the end of the day, timing cures speed. And you want to know who has the same weakness as Amir Khan? And you saw it in their last fight? Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia has the same exact weakness as Amir Khan. And he's too flat-footed. Now, Canelo's trainer is training Ryan Garcia now, too. Is he going to be able to get him out of the habit of putting his shit out there? I doubt it. I really doubt it. I really think Ryan Garcia is not going to go unscathed. I think he's going to lose at least 3 fights in his career. I think Devin Haney beats Ryan Garcia. I think Lomachenko beats Ryan Garcia. I think Teofimo Lopez defeats Ryan Garcia. I think the only one he as a 50-50 fight is Tank Davis. Him and Ryan Garcia is a 50-50 fight. And I'm going off subject a little bit about Canelo, but we could go off subject for a minute. But if you look at like Tank Davis's resume. Tank Davis hasn't fought a legitimate 135 pounder. He hasn't even fought a legitimate 130 pounder. Like Leo Santa Cruz moved up from 126. And you damn sure the hell Floyd ain't trying to match Tank up with somebody that's going to move around a lot. You don't know that. Like, I just don't see how. Let's see. This is about the Canelo Khan fight. I had Khan winning every round too. Ryan getting hurt badly to Luke, who doesn't have power, doesn't look good for Ryan when he fights fighters with power. I want to say he was. I didn't think he was too hurt. I just thought it was a punch that shocked him a little bit. I love how he came back. Don't get me wrong. I love how he came back and fought him. But the problem with Ryan Garcia is that habit ain't going to go away anytime soon. It might take him getting his ass kicked for that habit to have a chance to go away. He has to get knocked out or badly beat up for that fight, for that to go away. If it ever goes away. But like, it all depends. He tried to get a fight with Manny Pacquiao. He tried to get an exhibition. You think anybody's going to buy an exhibition fight with two active fighters? It's a fucking disgrace. So, that ain't happening. The fight's not happening. So, because Manny Pacquiao, they wanted Manny Pacquiao to move down to 140 to fight Ryan Garcia. Manny Pacquiao ain't going down 7 pounds. He's a 147 fighter now. He's been there for years now. So Manny Pacquiao said, all right, see you later. That could have been a name on Ryan Garcia's resume, but the thing is, I thought Manny Pacquiao would beat the shit out of Ryan Garcia. I thought Pacquiao would give Ryan Garcia a boxing lesson. Let the young fella know, hey, I still got it. He'll get hit too, Ryan Garcia. He'll take a lot of hits. Don't get me wrong, Luke Campbell is a good name to have on your resume. But that fight, if Luke Campbell had a killer instinct, Ryan Garcia wouldn't be winning that fight if he had a killer instinct. That's the God's honest truth. It's like look at the fighters that are in this one, in that 135 division. I would love to see Ryan Garcia fight Linares next. But I don't know. Let's see what's this next comment. Looking like Manny and Bud if Oriole Barons in Middle East throw $50 million for the site fee to hold it. It was rumored the fight was going to happen after Ramadan. If the fight was going to be made between Terence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao wants $40 million to fight Terence Crawford. Bob Arum ain't going to give Manny Pacquiao $40 million. I don't think he wants to. I think for Terence Crawford to nail a big ass fight, he has to leave Top Rank. I've been saying it that he needs to be bought out. That contract needs to be bought out. You need to let him go somewhere and make his money. Because this All Spence fight should be happening. This Manny Pacquiao fight should be happening. That fight should have been happening. Those two fights should have been happening already. But, politics. Bob Arum declares he'll go broke promoting Terence Crawford. It's not the way how you do business, Bob. That's actually the best boxer you have in your stable besides Tyson Fury right now. And you only have 50% rights to Tyson Fury because Queensberry has the other rights to Tyson Fury. You're his American promoter. And that's why a lot of top fighters left Bob Arum. Because they couldn't make the big time money. Here's another thing I want to talk about, man. Since we're on subject, if we're talking about the Oscar Valdez thing and everything. I saw Shakur Stevenson trying to hog it in a little bit. That my name should be in the mix. No, it shouldn't. Shakur Stevenson didn't even fight nobody. The question should be about Shakur Stevenson is, when the hell are you going to fight a guy that can actually fight? When I think of Shakur Stevenson, you wonder what I do? I just lay back like this. I get my fucking pillow and blanket ready, and I fall and I go to sleep. Shakur Stevenson puts me to sleep. Watching Shakur Stevenson fight puts me the fuck to sleep. We'll talk. It does. I fell asleep when he fought in Brooklyn. I fell asleep during that fight. And I know someone that actually agreed with me, and he actually fell asleep himself during his fight. So I want people to tell me something. Tell me something. If you think Shakur Stevenson deserves to be mentioned and be put into this picture to eventually probably get a fight with Oscar Valdez without even fighting anybody, let me know. Better have a damn good reason why. But if you don't, you might as well keep your fucking mouth shut. At the end of the day. Because we all know Shakur Stevenson ain't ready for Oscar Valdez. I won't lie, Shakur Haney, a lot of the new gen haven't fought anyone with a pulse yet. Now, I'm going to be honest. That Gamboa fight with Devin Haney, that was a fight that was designed for him to try to get Gamboa out of there. And he did it. Gamboa also got some shots in, but I still think Devin Haney beats Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. I seriously think he still beats Ryan Garcia, and I think he counters Ryan Garcia all night. I think he beats the hell out of Tank Davis for 12 rounds. But Shakur Stevenson, man, I just fall asleep watching him box. He hasn't fought a guy that can actually fight yet. For him to even mention himself in that picture as a title contender No, you're not a title contender yet. You were given a belt at 126. You were given a belt. You did not face an elite fighter. You haven't even fought a fucking C-level fighter yet. You fought D-level fighters, in my opinion. Before that's even being considered, you need to get Shakur Stevenson at least to fight a name before even put him in any type of fucking picture. But, I said this earlier on leaving the ring. When I called in, the guys that have the boxing ability but don't have the knockout power, they tend to move them slowly, develop them slowly, to bring them up more than the guys that have the knockout power that can really can be promotable. But I don't think Shakur Stevenson is promotable right now. He has to fight somebody that's a name and be able to beat them. Because if he fights a guy that is a name in boxing and he has a hard time with him, they're gonna look at it and say, "Yo, this is what we got from Shakur Stevenson." That's potentially could happen. So at the end of the day, we look at boxing today, and we look at Canelo and everything, and the WBC being a joke. Yes, WBC, I'm still calling you a fucking joke because you are a fucking joke. I come on here and talk my shit, say my opinion on shit, and probably half the people that are going to watch this are going to look at me. There's going to be some people going to be on here and look at me as like, what the fuck this dude think he's talking about? And there's going to be some guys that come on here that say to me that, "Drew, man, you know what you're saying. You know what you're talking about, bro." So if you think if you like what you're seeing, if you like what I'm saying, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you comment on this video if you like to. Bob was saying the other day that Shakur versus Valdez is a big possibility. I don't think he deserves to fight Valdez. He doesn't deserve to fight him. He needs to fight he needs to fight a couple names before he gets a shot at the title. I'll tell you one thing that you're boxing, bro. I appreciate that. Really, I really appreciate that. Well, no, I appreciate that. Brian, boxing is dead. Here, you're here. Boxing is dead. People, let me put your comment back on here. Boxing is dead. He just came in. I think he just came into the chat and just said boxing's dead. Just get the hell out, right? Boxing ain't dead yet. Boxing. Oh, you're still here. Okay, well, my bad. I didn't know you were still here. My bad. Boxing is. Let's see. I've come. It has been swallowed by mixed martial arts. I'll be honest with you. Mixed martial arts has taken a lot of the events that has made some more money off than some boxing events. Let's put your other comment on here. And it's currently being to waste. So, Brian, you more of a MMA fan than a boxing fan? And thank you for commenting on it. I'm just asking. Let's take that down. So, no, I'm going to mine. I only like soccer. You only like soccer. You only like soccer. Well, I'm glad you like something. I guess that's the main sport over there is soccer. But I wouldn't say boxing's completely dead. I think boxing is on borderline. It could be on life support eventually. But boxing is somewhat on decline still. And you can blame a lot of shit on that decline. Let's see, but I understand none. Let's see. Boxing, MMA has been killing it, but boxing is not dead yet. A lot of great fighters left. Yes, there are a lot of great fighters left. But but I'm going to say something about. I'm going to say something to the point, Brian. It's not dead. It's close to being on life support, and that's because the fighters. There's not a lot of good fights being made right now. There's good fights being made, but there's big names are not really stepping up to fight one another. We're still waiting to get confirmation of Fury versus Joshua still. That's close, by the way. So, we're still wondering, about Deontay Wilder, if he's coming back or not. He already knows the trilogy fight's out of the question now. So who can you put him in the ring with? It has to be a credible guy. There's a lot of shit being said about Deontay Wilder. When we get back, we'll get to another video because I got a big project planned. And after I figure out this outro bullshit when I'm making my own shit and everything on here, I'm going to get working on that video. Actually, I've been starting working on that video and I've been writing down a lot of shit. So, stay tuned for that. But at the end of the day, whether you're an MMA or a boxing fan, you have to respect the athletes that go in there because they risk their lives going in there and fighting. And people can say, oh, MMA is bigger here than boxing now. You can say that. Let's see. Chris Martin is looking like Wilder's next fight. Charles Martin. What the fuck I'm reading? Actually, Charles Martin won his last 3 fights since getting KO'd by Joshua. It looks pretty fucking good. So that might be a good fight. Might be a dangerous fight for Wilder. I think if Charles can dodge that right hand, he might be able to put a big upset on Wilder. Sport a comeback. I know he was I thought he was a mandatory. He was an IBF mate. He was supposed to be in an IBF of eliminator with Michael Hunter, but he pulled out of that. So he looks more likely going to be the Wilder's opponent since he pulled out of the Michael Hunter IBF eliminator. Yeah, he looks a lot better now, Charles Martin. So we'll see what happens there if the fight gets made. But I heard other names have come up like Andy Ruiz, Dillian White. So I don't know. Like I thought Deontay Wilder should have fought Dillian White a while ago. And for me watching these videos of other YouTubers, they're talking about Deontay Wilder and everything, and fucking talking about like these other trainers are coming out saying he's untrainable and everything. And Mark Bellin come out and say, yo, he wasn't really the gym rat kind of guy. He didn't listen. But you know what, man? A lot of shits came out about Deontay Wilder. I don't know how true it is, but a lot of people think it's true because, you know, with all these accusations he put up and and the bullshit wasn't true, it was just excuses. And it was proven that it wasn't true with Fury and everything. Like, even his own man, Jamal Charlo, said fucking Fury whooped his ass. That's just an ass whooping you took, dude. Like, Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury whooped your ass, man. You know, it was bound to happen sooner or later. I thought he got exposed against Luis Ortiz. And I thought the rest of the way, he got exposed the rest of the way by Fury. By a much better fighter, and Tyson Fury exposed him the rest of the way. And then when Floyd Mayweather offered to trade him and like help him out box battle, he declined. Dude, what the fuck's wrong with you, man? It's nothing wrong with taking help when someone offers it to you. Let's see this comment. Andy Ruiz will be an interesting fight. And they're both on PBC. So a fight that can be that can get good pay-per-view buys. Yeah, it can. Two former heavyweight champions. I'd like to see that fight. I actually think Andy Ruiz will beat Deontay Wilder now. I actually think Andy Ruiz knocks out Deontay Wilder. And I think he's been training with Canelo's trainer now too. I actually think Andy Ruiz will knock out Deontay Wilder if that fight happens. That would be my prediction for that fight. Andy Ruiz knocks out Deontay Wilder. Now the Charles Martin fight, I would have to say Deontay Wilder by knockout. In like a 8th round knockout. But I still think Andy Ruiz is a top 5 heavyweight still. And then you got the wild card, Usyk. I think Usyk beats Deontay Wilder too. Tyson fucked him up. Wilder is not white mentally, believing the shit conspiracy theories. Excuse me. That a lot of these YouTube boxing channels excuses they came up with, and let me tell you something about a lot of these YouTube channels. A lot of these YouTube channels were biased towards Deontay Wilder. And did not really, and came at and didn't really, they go, oh, that's the evidence. We got evidence on that shit. But when Fury released the video, here's the thing. They went too far into it that when it was proven that he didn't cheat, they were so far too into being biased, it will make them look so bad going back and say, oh, I was wrong about it and everything. And these other guys, I knew these other guys couldn't go back from it. Now, there's one channel that wasn't biased. He was straight down the middle. And that's Counterpunch Boxing. I like his channel. He wasn't biased at all towards anybody. He was saying it down the middle, what he thought and everything. He wasn't being biased towards anybody. He said that, until if there's proof that comes out, I like his content. I used to follow Boxing Ego, but when he started getting too biased doing that bullshit with Wilder and everything, I unsubscribed to his channel because I thought the bullshit he's coming up with and everything, he was being too biased. Like Dante's Boxing, I thought he was being a little bit too biased. I actually unsubscribed to him too. Like, really, you guys are really believing all this fucking bullshit? He comes up with a fucking different excuse every fucking day? Can you guys can't see that Deontay Wilder can't box? Like, seriously, without his right hand, he ain't shit. It's the truth. Deontay Wilder was hitting by a right hand, by an equalizer, which was his right hand. Deontay Wilder built a career of beating upper C class fighters and lower, because the best two fighters he fought was Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury, and Luis Ortiz is a mid B-tier fighter in my opinion. And once he got up to the A class, to the super or the S tier, I call Tyson Fury the S tier heavyweight. He should have lost both fights. He was given a gifted draw. Yeah, you only won the 2 rounds you knocked him down in. Tyson Fury outboxed him for 10 fucking rounds of that fight. And took his best shots. I had a 116, 110 Fury. And then they had a second fight. Everybody said, oh, Deontay Wilder's favorite. We think Deontay Wilder's going to knock Fury out. I said Fury's going to beat Wilder. And there's no way you're going to be able to take it away from him. Let's look at this comment. It's sadly based YouTube channel. Ego's channel is biased as fuck. They lie just to get views and subs. Total racism. I don't take those channels seriously. The drama channels. Yeah. I had it 116, 110 also. Like, guys, I don't like calling out channels. But I had to give a couple of examples out. I like Counterpunch's content. He's not biased. He's awesome. I like his content. I like his channel. I actually watch his content on a regular basis. And I like the guys that I'm with. Like, you gotta like my podcast. Podcast I co-host with Dave from the 48. Shoeshine Boxing on YouTube. On the Leave It in the Ring network. Shout out to Leave It in the Ring, please. Like being on that what network is awesome. Those guys are awesome. They're not biased. They're the type of fucking YouTube boxing YouTubers I'll fucking watch. I'm not saying it because I'm part of the network and everything. I'm just saying because it's fucking true. They're not biased. But I don't like calling out. I don't like calling out channels, but this time I really had to for a change. So, you know, but is at the end of the day, they got to them. They have a lot of subs, so they're doing something right. But I just thought they were being too biased during that scandal. That's all. That's my opinion. I thought they were being too biased. As a viewer, as a sub to their channels, I was a sub to their channels. As I felt, hey, I thought they were being too biased. I started to subscribe to their channels. I had every right to. It's my right to do it. If I didn't really like the content of some videos, and it's really you're spitting out like you know, to me you're spitting out crap. At that time, they put out good videos, both Dante and Ego, but when it came to that whole scandal and everything, I just thought they were just too biased towards Lotto in favor of him. They wasn't looking at both sides. They were just telling it from Lotto's view. They wasn't telling it from both sides' points of views. And when you cover a topic like that, you have to cover both points of views, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people's opinion, you have to cover both points of views. And they failed to do it, in my opinion. And that's why when I comment on it, they refused to let me comment on, like, when I was gonna put in a super chat, you know, I was gonna support the channel and his channel and everything. They refused to let me do it. And at the time I was blocked from the chat because I didn't want to, because I was putting a thing. I'm like, that what made me, I was like, okay, now you're being really, really biased. That made me unsubscribe to that chat, to Eagle's channel. But he put up some good content. There are a lot of videos of Ego and Dante's boxing that are good. But when it comes to that, when it came to that topic, I first thought they were too biased and everything. Like, don't get me wrong. I respect where they come from. I respect what they've done and everything. They're doing good for themselves on here. I'm a nobody on here still. I only got 14 subs. And I'm not ashamed to fucking admit that shit either. But you know what? I'm glad that, you know, I can voice my opinions. And I can go and be a co-host of a podcast and voice my opinion too and talk about boxing with somebody that knows about boxing. But this ain't just going to be a boxing channel on my channel, on my YouTube channel. It's a sports channel, but it's going to be a gaming channel. It's going to be all different types of channel. This is just one of the things I'll come up with from time to time. Just sit on my ass and fucking talk about boxing or some sports with people. And if people want to watch it, I thank you for watching it. I thank you for liking it. I even thank you for fucking disliking it. And I thank you for commenting. I thank you for subbing. Like, to be honest, it takes a fucking lot to do this shit. To not be shy, come up here and talk in front of a fucking camera, and knowing people, like maybe hundreds of people, thousands of people are gonna fucking watch your fucking video eventually. Like, I remember I was younger, I used to be shy as fuck. I didn't let to go on stage and fucking say shit to people. Like, I didn't want to like be on video and make sure people see it live and people see me talking. But you know, doing this and having over a year under my belt as a podcaster, I've been streaming on Twitch for like 5 years. I didn't accomplish shit on Twitch still, but I still do it. I'm grinding more on there now, but like, tell you the truth, I have fun doing what I do. I have fun going on a podcast and talk about boxing. I have fun talking right now on here. I have fun streaming. I was streaming tonight on Twitch. Play for a couple hours. Some scary fucking game. But, but I'm gonna call it a live chat. Where the fuck this you wanna call it? But I wanna thank the people that's gonna wind up watching this eventually. Thank the people that came in the chat. Boxing MMA 365. Brian, I'm not gonna look up to see what your last name is, but thank you for your comments. I'm not a fan of soccer, by the way, Brian. I'm sorry to tell you that. I'm not a fan of soccer. Sorry. And I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. So, guys, I have a donation goal for to get a PC and everything. That's why I got told to put a cash app up now. So, I don't give a fuck. If it happens, it happens. If it only comes out of my pocket eventually. I tell you, I'll keep it 100. I'll tell you how the fuck it is. But at the end of the day, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, boxing. So make sure you check the episode, last night's episode of the Shoeshine podcast at Shoeshine Boxing on YouTube with Dave from the 408 and yours truly. The best thing since sliced bread. Scratch that. I'm better than sliced bread. Philly Irish, DrewEvo. Everybody, have a good night. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And keep the notifications on for more content from your motherfucking boy. Good night.